Yes, okay, yes, indeed. Build up to the 2023 election, and those political developments we heard earlier on the program. Arise politics editor and director of news, Sumner Sambo, joins us now.
Thank you so much, Ngozi, for the introduction, and glad to have you on the news. Every time we see you, we know we're going to learn something new about Nigerian politics. So a couple of stories, but I'd like to begin with the IU resignation letter. This is the major opposition political party in Nigeria. And in the last couple of days, we've seen what has now been termed fake news. On Friday, we're discussing Wike's purported legal action against the presidential candidate. Now we are seeing a letter which IU says, I didn't write that letter and I didn't give anybody a letter. What's going on with the PDP and this purported fake stories or fake news? Yeah,
which was said to have been in the custody of former President of
David
the Senate,
Mark.
David Mark, and all of that. Well, it's in the nature of PDP politics whenever they want to remove their national chairman to actually do a lot, to bring lots of issues on board. Sponsor lots of stories, and if you read the chairman's statement, he has said it that, I mean, this looks like one of those stories that was planted in the newspapers. I mean, here you have chieftains who are very close to him, some of the political actors, I mean, providing this information to the media and telling people, well, I wouldn't want to come on air, or I want to be sure. But these are the feelers that we're getting. Look, the idea of pushing Dr. Yocha Ayu away from the position is very strong, and Wike is coming from the position of strength that, look, it looks like Ayu took a stand with Atiku and Tambuwal, and he was tainted. But I mean, Ayu himself is saying that, look, I was elected and I have a 4-year tenure. There's nothing that's going to make me to step down. He has insisted that nothing will make him to step down. And if you look at what the Atiku team is also pushing at Wike, the idea is that if you want Ayu to go, yes, Ayu may be pressured to go, but you would also have to allow the members of the National Working Committee to flip. So all those who are from the south should go to the north, and those who are from the north should go to the south. And of course, you know, the national secretary of the PDP was put in place by Governor Nyesom Wike. So it's going to be a big fall on his own part if indeed the national chairman... and that's what he can't afford. He can't afford to lose the national secretary position. So, but he wants the national chairman to go and still have the power to nominate his replacement. And there's no how Atiku Abubakar will agree to that. Because if Wike wants to have his men in the party, shouldn't Atiku, who is the presidential candidate and who is the oldest and one of the oldest founding members of the party, have the capacity to be able to put a national chairman there?
Right, but the argument being put forward by the Wike camp is, look, Yocha Ayu had agreed that if a northerner emerged as the presidential candidate of the party, the honorable thing to do would be to step down, that he would actually step down. But of course, it looks like he's pushing the...
Let's get that clear.
There's
always been
let's get it clear.
A misunderstanding of this issue.
Fantastic.
Now, the understanding of this issue is that in the politics of PDP, if you have a presidential candidate coming out from the region, until that presidential candidate wins and emerges as president, there's no how they are going to flip the positions.
Right.
That is the way it stands.
So
and even Atiku himself said that in his interview, if you listen to him clearly. It is only when the presidential candidate emerges as winner, as president of Nigeria, then you now flip. Because don't forget, this debate had come up because of the Saraki factor. Saraki was contesting, had the intention of contesting for the position of the PDP presidential ticket. And meanwhile, the PDP national chairmanship ticket had been zoned to the North Central. So having felt that he will be excluded by the zoning of the PDP national chairmanship to the North Central, there needed to be an assurance that if indeed the PDP national chairmanship comes to the North Central, that it wouldn't preclude him from contesting the presidential ticket of the party. So the assurance now came from Yocha Ayu that despite the fact that he is from the North Central, geopolitical zone, and the North Central is holding it, he can only agree to step down if the PDP produces a candidate from the North that goes on to eventually win and becomes president of Nigeria.
With all of this now, what happens to the reconciliation committee being led by Fintiri?
Yeah, I mean,
how is that going to play out if they don't solve or sort out this issue of, you know, whether you should step down or not?
Yeah, I mean, the good part of it is that Fintiri was actually one of the best persons to have been chosen
to head this
because because he's a very close friend of Wike, and then of course he's from Atiku's state, home state, and I mean there were talks here and there that during the presidential primary election he actually backed Wike, and he didn't back his own home presidential. Yeah, I mean Atiku Abubakar. So yes, if you listen to what he actually said to just a few days ago, he said that, I mean, he's in the best position to be able to unite these persons together. And there's no doubt that he will want to do a very good job. But the Wike camp has to be careful in what they are asking for, because if they're asking for too much, then they will drown. And many of his chieftains and associates are beginning to draw back because they know that Wike will soon be exiting in the next few months. And they will they may just be left home and dry.
Okay, very quickly, we have an Atiku Abubakar returning to Adamawa for the first time since his emergence, but also just to touch on the Wike and the controversy in the party before we leave it, they make a case that the PDP has somewhat been northernized. The chairman BOT is from the north, the chairman PDP Governors Forum is from the north, chairman PDP of course is from the north, Yocha you himself, the presidential candidate is from the north. You know, so don't they make a case to say, where's the south in all of this? And of course, match that with the Atiku returning home. Yeah,
I mean, the PDP has a North problem, just like the APC has a Muslim problem. So they've been trying to, you know, see how they can work these things out. Yeah, so at this point in time, the BOT chairman should have looked for a way to resolve this issue by either stepping down as a BOT chairman to create room for someone who is from the south to step in, or they should listen to voices of reason in the party like Bode George. I mean, you would have seen that they are canvassing, but they actually canvassing for a national chairman to come up because the Southwest has never held the national chairmanship position of the PDP. Yes, but not on the fact that, I mean, IU should just go like that, because Bode George too seemed to have been mixing up these issues. And he was a former deputy national chairman South.
He says he wanted to be chairman, but he had to step down for the interest of the party.
Yeah, for the interest of the party. So if there's a northern problem in the hierarchy of the PDP, then the BOT national chairman should step aside. But I'm telling you that the BOT national chairman too is waiting to see how the presidential election is going to be like, because the National Working Committee, they are holding a tenured position. IU didn't elect himself. People went to elect him, and he has a 4-year tenure. Now, in all of this, Atiku Abubakar's emergence again has polarized the party. We've seen him arriving Adamawa and all of that. Yes, this is his first visit since he got this presidential ticket once again. It's a very good opportunity for him to be able to warm himself up to the electorate in Adamawa, because Adamawa too is fast losing grip. I mean, PDP is fast losing group under Adamawa. You can see that the governor is under tension. Fintiri himself, he had to go and get a female governorship a deputy governorship candidate, because the APC with Senator Binani there is almost threatening his hold. And he won and defeated a former APC governor, Senator Jibrila Bindo, before he came on board. And if he doesn't know how to play, there will be a problem. And that's why you've seen that even Atiku himself was initially cold to the governor, because he knew that the governor was backing Wike at some point. So he has to see how he will cement his authority there so that he doesn't lose the home front, because APC is struggling to see how they can be able to not only get the 25% this time around, but to win the state. And if they do that, it will affect how Atiku is being viewed in terms of the geopolitical zone.
Do you think Wike will listen to the voice of reason, as some have been saying? I mean, Dele Momodu, recently actually said, hey, gentlemen, you need to pipe down a bit. What do you think would be the best way, the best approach on all sides, on Wike's side, Atiku's side, so that the party can actually make progress and move forward from this?
Thank you, Ngozi. Atiku actually brought this problem upon himself because there was no reason. Wike had said that he didn't want this position, but you made it look like you wanted him to get this position. So if you've been able to draw him to this point, can you please offer him something that's too good to refuse?
Like
and that may not necessarily be the PDP national chairmanship position, because it may be difficult for IU to be able to exit now, because IU is not there for himself. Don't forget, a lot of factors came into play before IU could get into that position.
Indeed.
And it's too late. Isn't it too late for PDP to start having a new national chairman now?
And imagine
that will affect the impact.
They did, what that will mean for the party.
Yes. So at this point in time, they should just allow IU to conclude the election, allow Atiku to go on, but they can sacrifice the BOT chairman to the south and see how it goes until after the election, then before they reject the whole National Working Committee and all of that. The APC is waiting for the PDP just to take some missteps, and before you know, there will be a problem. It's the same thing that almost happened in 2019 when they were going to the election. There was pressure on secondus and all of that until they had to quietly go into the election. Now, the best way to achieve this is for this reconciliation committee to be given the strength by both parties. Wike and Atiku must put something on the table. Wike knows right now that he can't defect to the APC. And if he's going to act as a spoiler, is it to Peter Obi that he wants to draw his attention to? A lot of people are saying that it may not be easier for him to do that. Look at his own governorship candidate. What happens to him? And then, of course, do we foresee a Rotimi Amechi coming into the PDP? And if that is the case, is Rotimi Amechi also, if he's being courted, will he be able to push away Tonye Cole, who's his own APC governorship candidate?
Or even make friends with Wike?
Yes.
So there's a lot.
So all of them, until the presidential elections are over, they cannot but just continue with the flow right now, because the choices are very limited for all of them.
You know, I say that every time we are here, we're learning a new thing or more. Thank you so much. Arise News Politics editor Sumner Sambo there for you.